Bam, bam. Take them away, baby.
Hey, what's up, guys? Restream gave us some problems, so we are a half hour late, but we couldn't stop. We have to go on live because we love the 49ers. You got Wayne Breezie over there on your left. I'm Rohan Chakravarthi from 49ers RedZone podcast, and we've got a fun one today. We are ranking every position group in the NFC West, and we are going team by team, but after this intro.
It's Tuesday. That means you with the best. Only the best. The very best. Hey, is Taco Bell releasing some secret new
Oh,
thing?
you're right. Like they bringing back some Mexican pizza.
That's what it is.
I
That's
think, yeah, probably one of the next couple of days. Yeah, yeah.
okay. I just assumed it would be on a Tuesday since it's Taco Tuesday. Speaking of
Even
Taco Tuesday,
they better be today then.
right? Did you see the video with Spencer Burford? Tell me you weren't cracking up, yo.
Oh man, I mean, you got to protect that man, national treasure, and every taco business in the Bay Area, you better give them free tacos for life. Ain't no tacos showing. Oh boy, Mariah. Oh, after last week's R. Kelly jokes, we started it off
She
early.
started off early, real early. Oh man, it was cool. I can't wait to chop up that the part at the very end was the best part where he didn't get his tacos. He still didn't get his tacos.
Yeah, he was
That's my
like,
favorite part.
show up. We better make sure they show up in the Bay though.
They better show up in the Bay, and they better show up in the Bay. Now it's funny because I've been out there numerous times, and I've never had tacos out on the West Coast, which is weird that I wouldn't try tacos, but I just didn't know where to try them from. So I'm not really, sure. So hopefully they're reaching out to Spencer. Hey, Spence, man, hit us up in the DMs on Instagram or whatever, whatnot. We'll make sure you get the links to go get the good tacos where they can either deliver or you can go get them yourself. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, Rohan, we got a great show for everybody out there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I said earlier, ranking every position group in the NFC West. And one thing that you got to see when you talk about the NFC West this offseason is just turnover. The Seattle Seahawks, one of the better teams over the last decade, kind of moved away from their stance, trading away longtime quarterback Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos for a slew of draft picks, then also releasing longtime linebacker Leisure to Boomstar Bobby Wagner, and then additionally they lost left tackle or right tackle. I forget what he played last year. Dwayne Brown, one of their better offensive pieces. So it's a complete renovation for the Seattle Seahawks. I, for one, couldn't be any happier. I'd love to see them get teared down, and I hope they don't rebuild for a while. But what that means is we got to rank these position groups, and there are a lot of new additions coming to the NFC West. You've got the Rams with their regular splash signings, the 49ers with some underrated signings. So I'm excited definitely to get into this episode.
All right, now before we get into the episode, we do want to announce the winner from last week's giveaway, right? And so, did you give me the winner's name?
Yeah. So before I say the winner's name, Breezy, why don't you show us what we are releasing as the giveaway for last week's?
All right. So we're going to be giving away a Trey Lance rookie card. All right. This is one of the Panini joints. All right. This is the Rookie and Stars joint. So we're going to be giving away one of these joints right here. And I'm about to be out these Trey Lance rookie cards, man. So shout out to the winner, whoever that may be, because I know, but I don't know. So I'm going to get that typed up right now as you slowly speak.
Yeah, and the winner of this, I haven't seen him yet in the chat, so hopefully he pops up. We asked last week, guess the amount of primetime games that the 49ers have. A ton of people said 4. The answer ended up being 5, and out of the people that said 5, we randomized it, and the winner, drum roll please, is Raphael 5629ers. So, Raphael, if you are watching, hit us up on Twitter, DM either me or Breezy, and we will make sure that gets sent out to you. There we go. Raphael5629ers. We're going to hoop that out to you. And
congratulations, Raphael. Man, it's hard giving up these Trey Lance rookie cards, but he won fair and square. He went
Yeah,
fair and square.
definitely did. Good guess with the 5. I know you said 6. I said 5 last week, so good guess there, Raphael. And for guys, if you want any more of these giveaways, I know we've got a couple of interesting 49ers items that we are willing to give away. Be sure to subscribe both to Breezy's channel and to my channel in the description, and we're going to continue up giving away some of these interesting 49ers items for sure.
Yeah, man. It's going to be really cool. All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty of the show because I'm looking at the 4 teams and I'm looking at the depth charts and I'm looking at the rosters and the depth charts and I'm saying to myself, this is going to be very interesting because we're going to break them down by group. And so we're going to, you guys can help rank if you want out there, but we're really going to go through each position group, as quickly as we can and kind of break them down to see which group has the best group. So we're going to start at the top, right? Where do we start at the top? We start with the quarterback, right? We start with the quarterback's room.
Quarterback. Yeah. And I mean, these 4 teams have the same quarterbacks in a way, at least on the roster that they had last year, except for the Seattle Seahawks, obviously. So you have Matthew Stafford as a part of the Los Angeles Rams quarterback room. You've got Kyler Murray, obviously, in Arizona. You've got 2 for the 49ers. We still don't know technically who the starter will be. It is Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. And then over there in Seattle, you also have 2, and that is Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Breezy, what are your rankings for those 4?
All right, so if we're going with those starting quarterbacks, right? I mean, you got to put Matthew Stafford at number 1. He's a Super Bowl champion. He has the longest tenure out of all these quarterbacks, and he's just the best. He's the best skill set out of the quarterbacks. There's no way we should argue against that. Matthew Stafford should be the number 1 quarterback of the NFC West. All right. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky because you know what? It's not tricky. After Matthew Stafford, you go Kyler Murray from Arizona. So you got Stafford, Kyler Murray. Then after that, does Trey Lance have the edge over a Drew Lock or a Geno Smith? And so I feel like people are going to be like, oh, they homers if they pick Trey Lance over Geno Smith. But Geno Smith is a glorified backup, and Drew Lock, Trey Lance is better than Drew Lock, right? Talk me off the ledge, y'all. Come on. Trey Lance better than Drew Lock.
You got to be. And I mean, look, when we're talking position groups, we got to involve everybody in the group. And not many people like Garoppolo, of course. But when you're comparing at least the known quantity of Garoppolo against Drew Lock and Geno Smith, I think Garoppolo is better than both of those quarterbacks.
True.
To add to the mix only further solidifies the 49ers quarterback room. And I do think that they do slot in at 3rd for the quarterback position, at least for 2022, when we don't know exactly how Trey Lance is going to look over a 17-game season. And the known quantity of Jim Garoppolo is certainly not better than the other 2 quarterbacks that we mentioned in the top 2.
If we remove Trey from the equation and we slide Jimmy into the equation, rank the quarterbacks.
If we remove Trey, I think move Trey into the equation, I still believe it's going to be these 4. And the reason is I don't think that Geno Smith or Drew Lock are starting caliber quarterbacks in the NFL. And from what we've seen in the 2.5 games, when we're talking about Trey Lance, we've got to go on a couple of things. We've got to go off the reports on his work ethic, which have been phenomenal recently. We also got to go off the 2.5 games. And like Brunel says here, I thought that Lance was better in the 2.5 games, and his entire college film was also better than Drew Lock, which is why I'm going to place him there. Obviously, I mean, it's not necessarily an outlandish take just because I think Trey Lance is going to be a better NFL player than Drew Lock has been. He hasn't been a good NFL player. That Denver Broncos team is great outside of the quarterback position, and they solidified that this offseason. That is why people are talking about them as a potential playoff contender and even further, rather than the 7-10 team that they've been over the last couple of years.
Yeah, so I want to remove Trey, put Jimmy as the quarterback for the 49ers. So let's just say Jimmy is back because he's not gone. Let's just say Jimmy is back. Now rank the quarterbacks. Is Jimmy better than Stafford? Is Stafford better than Jimmy? Is Jimmy better than Kyler? You know what I'm saying? Rank the quarterbacks with Jimmy in the equation.
Now, with Jimmy in the equation, I still honestly think it's the same. To me, Matthew Stafford, I think, is one of the more underrated quarterbacks. I might have him ranked higher than many people have him on their quarterback lists. I think in my tentative list that I had, Near the end of last season, I had Stafford as my sixth best quarterback in the entire of the NFL. Kyler Murray, I think, was in the top half. He was an above average quarterback in my ranking, while Garoppolo was either an average to a below average quarterback. And like I said, I don't think Locke or Geno Smith are top 30 quarterbacks in this NFL based on a variety of factors, including potential. So that's still my ranking for those four.
Okay. All right. And the reason why I asked this because I would say that it would be Matthew, Jimmy, Kyler, and then the Seahawks quarterback.
Ooh, okay.
See what I'm saying? I think Jimmy has I even think Jimmy has an edge over Kyler Murray. And so that's why I said that. So if Trey's there, though, then I'm sliding Kyler to 2, Trey to 3, Seahawks to 4. So Seahawks they're at 4. No matter who their quarterback is, they're at 4. Now, when you look at the overall room, I think the 49ers had the best quarterbacks room. And let me tell you why. The Rams are the only team with 3 quarterbacks on their roster. 49ers have Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Nate Sudfeld, and then they drafted Brock Purdy, right? Mm-hmm. The Rams have Matthew Stafford, John Wolford, Bryce Perkins. The Seahawks, let me actually put them in the order. The Cardinals, have Kyler Murray, Colt McCoy, Trace McSorley, and Jarrett Garatano. And then the Seahawks have Drew Lock, Geno Smith, Jacob Eason, Levi Lewis. I think if I had to rank the quarterbacks' rooms, I think it would be 49ers, Arizona, Rams, Seahawks.
Interesting. Now, for me, I view it a little differently for the quarterback position specifically, because to me, I believe quarterback injuries are less prevalent than other positions. When you look at the wide receiver room, it isn't like one contributor. You want an array of wide receivers, a group of 6. That's why the wide receiver position, and honestly, every other position other than kicker and punter, have more than 2 to 3 guys that you roster on the 53-man. So for me, quarterbacks wise, I view the entirety of the room as less significant when I'm evaluating position groups, which is why I'm going with a premier talent of Matthew Stafford over a combined group. Because at least for wide receivers and other positions, I'm just saying wide receivers as an example, though that second guy will see the field on a regular basis. It might not be for a majority of the snaps, but he'll at least see 18-20% of the snaps on a regular basis. The other quarterback, however, is not seeing the field at all for the entirety of a game unless an injury occurs, which is why I think that devalues the position of depth necessarily at the quarterback position. And that's why I kind of, at least when I'm talking about evaluating position groups, I'm going more with the frontline starter.
And that's 100% fair, right? But you have to factor in that football is a 100% injury sport. And if, God forbid, Matthew Stafford got injured, the Rams are FUCKED'd. Like they're literally screwed, right? Mm-hmm. And so then you look at that quarterback's room and you be like, all right. So if I'm the 49ers defense, and I'm not saying go out there and injure Matthew Stafford, but go out there and take care of business, right? Like they do that. What are the Rams going to do? Look, and it's not cool to go out there and injure players, but look at that. If Matthew Stafford like hurts a finger and John Wolford has to come in, that could be a spiral downfall until Matthew Stafford comes back, even though he's clearly the best quarterback right now in the NFC West. Hands down. I think we all agree with that. But you got to factor in somebody can get hurt. And so if Jimmy stays on the roster, if he's still on the roster, he's the best backup quarterback in the NFC West. He's better than Colt McCoy. Even though Colt McCoy was pretty decent for the Cardinals last year, if Jimmy remains a 49er, he's the best backup in the league hands down because he's still a starting quarterback. And so that'll be in the favor for the 49ers. But I'm with you, bro. I think the Rams have the best quarterback in the NFC West, and we can leave it at that. So the Rams get Matthew Stafford. They have the best quarterback. They win that position easily. Let's go to the running backs, man.
Yeah, and I think this one, at least for me, is going to be interesting to the people in the chat. I don't think a lot of people in the chat are going to agree with me. I want to hear your rankings first before I give you mine.
Okay, so are we talking about starting running backs or the whole group?
Talking about the entirety of the group, yeah.
All right, so when I'm looking at the Rams group, they got Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson Jr., Kyron Williams, who they drafted out of Notre Dame, and Jake Funk. right?
Right.
And we're just talking about their first four. We got Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., Jermichael Hasty, and Trey Sermon. The Arizona Cardinals have James Conner, Eno Benjamin, Keontae Ingram, and Jonathan Ward. And then the Seahawks have Rashad Penny, Ken Walker. They drafted Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, in the second round, number 40 overall, or 39 or 40
Oh,
overall.
shook. Chris Carson, DJ Dallas. You're going to be mad at me, but I think the Seattle Seahawks got the best running backs room.
Okay, we're in agreement. Yeah. And
Oh, shoot.
okay.
They got the best running backs room, man. Like now, granted, Rashad and Chris haven't been healthy, but if they can be healthy with a Kenneth Walker, how I think he's going to be a great running back in the league, and DJ Dallas, you saw him come in and he was able to do stuff. And I know that I'm not even looking at the chat right now, so I don't even care what they're saying. But I think they got the best running backs room, and then I think the 49ers would be too. I think the 49ers would be too. I would love to know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so for me, I'm just looking at it as an overall group, right? I think the 49ers are obviously known for running a lot more than another team like the Los Angeles Rams or the Cardinals or something like that. So when I look at the Seattle Seahawks, right, you said it. Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and Kenneth Walker. Chris Carson on his own is a fairly good running back. Rashad Penny had a breakout season last year, and Kenneth Walker was the best running back in this draft. So when you combine all three, I think the overall depth, you have a three-headed monster. Now, Carson is coming off a neck injury. We don't know if he's going to come back. But solely based on last year when Chris Carson was injured, the Seattle Seahawks rushed for 122 yards per game on 5 yards a carry. That was the most efficient out of any running back room in the entirety of the NFC West last year. The 49ers had 4.3 yards per carry. I think the Rams had 4 yards per carry, and the Arizona Cardinals had 4.2 yards per carry. Now, when I go to the second team, it's got to be the 49ers, and I'll tell you why. Both the other rooms lost players in their running back room last year.
Correct.
The 49ers gained because they drafted Ty Davis Price with that third round pick. So now you have Davis Price, you have Sermon, you have Wilson, and you have Elijah Mitchell. So you have a strong room now with the addition of Ty Davis Price. Now, when you look at the Cardinals, they had a strong two-headed monster last year with James Conner and Chase Edmonds. However, Chase Edmonds is now a Miami Dolphin. So that second running back, we don't know who it's going to be. Is it Eno Benjamin? Eno Benjamin didn't have much volume last year, so I'm interested to see who that will be. Same with the Rams. The Rams, who do they have last year? It was that Sony Michel. Michel,
he's gone. He's gone.
He's also in Miami this year. So now it's Cam Akers, who should be a little more reinvigorated, and Darrell Henderson and Kyron Williams. So if I'm ranking them, I've got to go Seahawks 1, 49ers 2, Rams 3, Cardinals 4.
See, I'm going Seahawks 1, 49ers 2, Cardinals 3, Rams 4. Cam Akers and what's his name? Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. They did pick up Kyron Williams, and I do like him coming out of college, but I like the Eno Benjamin kid. Like, I think he can be a problem. They lost Sony Michel, but they knew they had Eno Benjamin. Eno Benjamin's another speedster, another power runner. Like, the only reason why I'm picking Seattle to be number one is because they have 1,000-yard running backs, as well as spellbacks, as well as this youthful. They have one of the best running backs that they drafted as a rookie. You got to take that into consideration. And so Seahawks are number one. And this is, you know what I like about this show? We're not showing that favoritism that probably a lot of people think that we would show. I do have the 49ers number two with you just because of what they are. They're running backs by committee. Elijah Mitchell could have been a 1,000-yard rusher if he was healthy. Jeff Wilson Jr. runs mean. Jermichael Hasty is great catching out of the backfield as well as running. And Trey Sermon, I think, has a great sophomore year. And we didn't even factor in the rookie TDP that we drafted. So the 49ers have a lot. They are built off the run, and they will continue to be a great running team. But I think the Seahawks have the greatest running back room as of now. I think the 49ers running backs room, though, can probably stay the healthiest. And that's what we're hoping. Which room is going to stay the healthiest is going to be to sustain throughout the year. But I think that the Seahawks got the best room, hands freaking down at the running back position. Now, I see people are talking about don't forget Juice. Listen, I don't have Juice as a running back. He's a fullback. He's not running back. I understand he's in the room, but he has his own position. So let's break down the fullbacks because I don't think there's a fullback in the NFC West better than Juice. You know what I mean?
Just to give Juice some love, I don't even know if I know the Cardinals don't employ a fullback. I know the Seahawks do, and I know the Rams don't. So it's really just Juice and then Nick Balor of the Seahawks. And
That's
yeah,
it.
those two. I mean, you gotta go Juice, man. But we're just doing this. We got to give Juice some love. Juice is not one of. He is the best fullback in the entirety of the NFL.
In the entire league, like Juice is Juice, and he's gonna always be Juice. Hey, quick question: wasn't Nick Balor a 49er?
I do not know, but I mean, just judging by the fact that he was a Seattle Seahawk, actually Nick Balor might have actually been.
I could have swore he was a 49er. Everybody out there, wasn't Nick Balor a 49er?
He was. I think he was before the Shanahan era because he was 2015-16. Those 2 years he was a 49er, and then I think he was in Detroit, and then he ends up in Seattle now.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. All right.
If 49er and you get cut from the team, you're going to be a Seattle Seahawks at some point.
That's just the way it is, man. That's just the way it is. All right, let's keep this moving, man. I'm loving it. Let's go to the next position group. What do you got?
Artist, yeah. This is the wide receiver position. All of these teams have some sort of wide receiver group. Wayne, what are you thinking?
This is a tough one because I feel like this position group is somewhat the strength of all the teams. I would. All right, so let's start with the top. Let's start with. We got to start with Cooper Kupp, bro. Yeah. Like Cooper, Debo, Hopkins,
and then DK
and Metcalf, right?
And then, going right back at it.
I know, dog. I know.
5, and then you got Robinson 6. And
I know. This is tough because Seattle will use. I mean, the Seattle and the Rams will use 3 wide receiver sets all freaking day, right? They just will. They got them. This is tough.
And the thing is, when you look at this, it's tough because do you evaluate the depth? Because I think
you have to
most depth, but there's also top end talent. I think some other teams, like the Seattle Seahawks, have the best top end talent of any of these 4. They've got a strong duo with Metcalf and Lockett. The Rams follow them with a strong duo of Kupp and Allen Robinson. And I'll start because I think I know where I'm going to go with this for the 1st and the 4th.
All right, go ahead.
Rams number 1, and the reason is they've got Van Jefferson in that room as well. I think that 3-headed monster of Kupp, Jefferson, and Allen Robinson is very good, and that's why I think
then let's go 3-headed monsters all the way out.
All right, let's do it.
Let's keep that at the basis. All right. So if that's your 3-headed monster, that's where you're starting. If that's the case, then Seattle should be number 2.
Yeah. So if we're doing that, I knew that the Rams are 1 and the Cardinals are 4 because I think that Marquise Brown is probably the worst wide receiver number 2 out of any of these 4 teams. With all due respect to Marquise Brown, he had a good season in Baltimore and he should break out.
He did have a good season last year. He actually did, yeah.
But yeah, so I think Arizona is 4, given that they have AJ Green, Brown, and also DeAndre Hopkins is suspended. So I mean, when you look at all of it, I do think that I'm going to have Arizona 4, but I think the error of margin is so slim between these teams.
I have the 49ers at 4.
Got it. Okay.
I think
you think a little more because I think and
it's because the 49ers have the weakest of the third receiver. Okay? Now, don't get it twisted, man. I know Hopkins is suspended. Like, we get it. But he's still top echelon of a wide receiver. And AJ Green is ancient for days, right? So when I look at Arizona's depth chart and I'm saying, all right, you got to factor in Marquise Brown. You didn't even mention Rondale Moore, I don't think. Like, you got to factor. Yeah, right.
Rondale over AJ then. Yeah, Rondale over AJ.
So let's do Rondale Moore, Marquise Brown, and Hopkins. Even though Hopkins is suspended, he's still that upper echelon. We're talking about receiver groups overall. We're not talking about like who's starting, who's going to be out there. No, we're just talking about which rosters, the people that they have. And so you got to go Marquise Brown, Rondell Moore, and DeAndre Hopkins. I think you take them over Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings. I just think you do. I just think you do. And you might even slide them ahead of Seattle, right?
We'll
Hopkins.
see. Seattle's wide receiver number 3 is D. Eskridge, a guy who has potential but a lot to prove.
Or their third guy is Freddie Swain, who we've watched catch passes, number 15. He just go out there and be a problem. I'm trying to tell you, Seattle, don't sleep on Seattle. Now the difference between the wide receiver groups this year from last year is the quarterback. And so I know you got to factor that in. So we're not thinking about that. We're just talking about the group itself overall. We're not factoring in the quarterback situation and things like that, because I don't think that these wide receivers are going to be able to get off like they did if they had Russell Wilson. But I still think they have a better room than 49ers.
I think, okay, let me rephrase, because now that we're actually just thinking three-headed monsters rather than the entire, because I was also factoring in a way the new additions with McLeod. And things, but now that we're thinking,
you got to read the comments. GSU for life. I haven't seen or talked to you in a minute, but his comment is, I don't know if I like this new logical Breezie. Breezie, you're making some sense. I can't help it.
But okay, so let's think about it with the three-headed monster way that you're saying. So first, I think it has to be LA. I think they've got the strongest.
LA's number one, hands down.
Because yeah, and then okay, so number 2, I've got to I don't know who you said number 2. I think I've got to go Arizona.
Arizona should be number 2.
2, because Rondell Moore, he is a very good player.
Here we go. Now we talking. I
think that's strong number 2. Now, I mean, also a very strong top 2 over there. Seattle, I'm going to put at 3 just because two-headed monster is there, and San Francisco's got to.
See what I'm saying? I'm saying? It's just the way it is. It's no disrespect to the 49ers wide receiving group, but you got to factor in those number 3. You got to factor in that third guy, Vance Jefferson, Rondell Moore, right? You got to factor in these third guys, Juwan Jennings, right? Or the rookie. It might be him. I don't know. It depends on how camp works out. But let's say Juwan Jennings right now has that third spot. And then you got to factor in, I think Freddie Swain is a better third down receiver than a lot of people give him credit for. And when Tyler Lockett went down, he stepped in at the number 2 and balled out. I don't even think Eskridge is there yet. I don't think he's reached that status yet. I think it's more of a Freddie Swain at the third, but it could be Eskridge. You're 100% correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right, so we've got these wide receiver rankings. Let's move on to tight end. Because
Sean says, I don't know how y'all expect the Niners to win at all. Y'all ain't giving the Niners anything. Hey, Sean, we ain't get to the defense yet, fam. And we gave them the fullback. The Niners got the best fullback in the league, Craig. And we ain't get to the tight end spot yet, neither did we. Or the offensive line, did we?
No,
we did not. Hold your horses, Sean. Hold your horses, Sean. We coming, baby. All right, where we at now?
We got to go tight end. And I don't even got to look at no room. Number 1, 49ers, George Kittle. Put that on the board.
Thank you, Alex. He was a linebacker. That's what he was. I knew he played for the 49ers, to my Nick Balor, and he was a linebacker.
Got it.
Thank you, Alex Falker. Thank you. I knew it. I just could not remember. He was a linebacker. You're 100% correct. All right, let's keep this moving. We are on the tight end spot. And so do I need to name any tight ends other than George Kittle? Do you want to rank them? Because if no, we got to be fair. We got to rank them. It's Kittle and the tight ends for the 49ers over Higbee and whoever else played for the Rams. I like Zach Ertz, so I got the Cardinals at 2, fam.
Ooh, I got you too. And it's not only because of Zach Ertz. It's because they have Zach Ertz and Trey McBride and
Max Williams.
They've got a 3-headed monster over there. I mean, Williams has to get healthy.
13 personnel, 3 tight end packages on the goal line. That's some scary dairy stuff, baby. Yeah, Seattle's room is kind of decent too. They got Noah Fant, Will Dissly, Kobe Parkinson. It's not bad. I think the Rams is last. I think it's the Niners, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Rams. What you think?
I agree because when you look at it, we are evaluating depth and we were balancing out star talent and depth. The 49ers obviously have the best tight end of the group, and you have to consider that very heavily with George Kittle. But the other two rooms that we spoke about, the Cardinals and the Seahawks, have at least two pretty quality caliber tight ends. The Cardinals obviously have Ertz, McBride, and Williams. The Seahawks have Noah Fant and Will Dissly, who they were pretty confident in. I think they paid him a 3-year extension this year. So I think that is very important as well. The Rams, while Tyler Higbee is a very underrated and pretty solid tight end, the lack of depth right now because Bryson Hopkins is somewhat of an unknown. Kendall Blanton hasn't shown much. I remember he had one pretty solid game this year, but when you look at the overall depth, it's got to be the Rams at 4, the Seahawks at 3, the Cardinals at 2, and the 49ers at 1.
That's it. There you go. All right, where are we moving to? Are we
Offensive
going?
line.
Are we going the whole offensive line, right?
Yeah, whole offensive line.
All right. So So the Rams lost their left tackle. So Wentworth is gone, right?
Yeah, so they've got. I mean, their replacement is actually not bad. It's
Joe Noteboom.
Yeah, he's a pretty solid swing guy that he should slide in. He played pretty well last year when Whitworth wasn't out. So he's not bad. But again, I think the 49ers are the best offensive line in the NFC West right now.
Now that's funny because
So
as much as we've complained about the offensive line and it needs help and Alex Mack is back. Wait a minute. No, he's not. That was Daniel Brunskill. And like it's just so funny because it's like weird. I think you're right though. I think the Seahawks are still 4th. I think the 49ers are 1st. I think the Cardinals are 2nd and the Rams are 3rd.
I agree. I do agree because the Cardinals, well, DJ Humphries, I think probably an average to maybe a little above average at left tackle.
I also like to pick up a Will Hernandez too.
Hernandez is solid. They also have Rodney Hudson and Kelvin Beachum. Last year. He's 31 years old, but didn't have a bad year. The Seahawks are a rebuilding team. Like I said earlier, they lost their top guy in Dwayne Brown. So they don't necessarily have that really a strong solidified option. Gabe Jackson is their only veteran on that offensive line. I know they signed Austin Blythe, but really it's a lot of underrated stuff. Not underrated, unknowns on that offensive line for Seattle. So the Rams have to be 3rd. And I mean, they're no slouch either. Noteboom and Brian Allen are pretty solid. Havenstein over there at right tackle is pretty solid. Well, but there are some unknowns. Logan Bruce, their 4th-round pick, their first pick of the year, he is an unknown as well. So it is somewhat interesting. But I've got to go 49ers. What do we say? Cardinals.
Yeah.
Rams. Seahawks.
Yeah. That was it. That's it. What are you talking about? Where's Mo? Where's Mo's to bring some logic? Where do we need to add the logic in GSU for life? I don't know what part of the show you're on. Brian keeps saying that, listen, man, ever since the Seattle Seahawks have joined the NFC West, they have been a thorn on the 49ers side. Can the 49ers at least win one of the games against the Seahawks this year? What are your thoughts?
I really hope so. I mean, that week 2 game is at home. We should win it.
They got to win that.
I did highlight the week 15 game as a trap game, but I think the week 2 game is at home.
Okay. Well, they do have so you gotta think about it. The reason why he's saying that they have the best offensive line, and I know a lot of you guys are thinking that the offensive line is shabby, which it could be, but you got to look at the other teams' offensive lines as well. So, like when you compare it to the other teams in the West, they don't have like the pieces that we have. Like no one has we have the best left tackle, and then that helps everything else. So let's say Alex Mack is back. Now we have the best center, right? And then let's say Mike McGlinchey is back. He could be arguably the best right tackle in the division as well. Arguably. You know what I mean?
Pretty much either him or Havenstein at that right tackle position as the best right tackle. And that's like crazy thinking about it because
it is.
So people bash Mike McGlinchey. But then when you look at it, yeah, it's the best of the worst. You can say it that way, but even considering how much turnover and uncertainty there is, this offensive line unit still has the potential to be a top 10 offensive line in the entire.
I agree, especially if they get churning. You know what I'm saying? So look, Mike McGlinchey, all right. what are the 49ers going to plan to do this year? Run a damn ball. They're going to try to find a way to run, especially with the younger quarterback out there. They're not going to have him throw the ball 40 times a game. It's not happening. They're going to try to run the ball 40 times a game, probably have Trey Lance throw 20 to 25 times a game. That is the formula you're going to be looking, because that's the formula that's going to win. In order to run the ball, though, you want Mike McGlinchey out there. Like, you want him out there for running. I don't think Mike McGlinchey is going to be as bad as we thought with Trey Lance at quarterback, only because Trey Lance has escapability artists. Like, he can get out. If Mike McGlinchey is getting beat, Trey probably can feel the pressure, move around, make a play, run, do something. So even if Mike McGlinchey still looks bad in pass protection, I think Trey makes up for it. Whereas Jimmy Garoppolo just sits there and gets sacked. I think that's the difference. And so I know Mike McGlinchey is not one of the best pass protectors out there, but maybe he's gotten better. Maybe he was just injured, and I don't know. We'll find out. But I think the 49ers have the best offensive line in the NFC West, without a doubt.
And when you look at it, I know a lot of people don't necessarily like the work. Ben Baldwin, Computer Cowboy on Twitter, he's a guy who normally ranks offensive lines. Mm-hmm. And looking at 2022, even with our current 5 projected starters, which is Williams, Banks, Mack, Brunskill, McGlinchey, the 49ers have a top 10 offensive line. And that's involving both, not involving both run and pass. That is strictly pass protection. And the 49ers are a better run blocking team than they are a pass protecting team. They are the 8th best offensive line. The Rams, he believes, are second at 11th. The Cardinals are at 25th, and the Seahawks are at 32nd in his eyes. And that's solely pass protection. But it's just another statistic that solidifies that the 49ers probably do have the best offensive line out of these 4 teams. We're not saying
in the league, Craig. Nah, not in the league, but definitely in the West. like definitely in the West. So when you're looking at it right now, let's recap the offense, because we finished the offense. We gave the quarterbacks to the Rams. We gave the running backs to the Seahawks. We're just going with ones. We gave the fullbacks to the 49ers. Yeah. We gave the tight ends to the 49ers. We gave the wide receivers to the Rams.
Yeah.
And we gave the offensive line to the 49ers. So who's the best team on offense right now?
It might be the 49ers.
Sounds like the 49ers, right? I mean, they struggle.
Like, if you're viewing all positions equally, it might be the 49ers, but obviously some positions matter more than others.
Right. But I mean, even if you add, how many ones did the 49ers get? All right. So they got fullback, they got tight end, they got offensive line. So that's 3, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Rams got 2. They got quarterback and wide receiver. Right. And then the Seahawks got 1. And then they got the running backs. And then the Cardinals, I don't even know if the Cardinals got anything. I don't know.
No, they haven't yet.
Oh, he wants to know if we're going to do coaches. I still think the 49ers got the best coaches, but you probably got to put the Rams there since they won the damn Super Bowl.
All right, so now we gotta transition to defense.
We gotta flip it up. Defense.
We gotta go defensive line to start it, I guess.
All right, so this is where it gets cool, man. All right, you can start this one off, broski.
All right, so
you got the best damn player in the NFL and with the Rams on defense, bro.
Yeah. So I think this is a close 1-2 punch, and I honestly think 3 of these 4 teams have pretty. While they lost Chandler Jones, they drafted a pair in Myjai Sanders, and they also drafted Cameron Thomas. So when you look at it, I do think the 49ers edge out over the Rams. You look statistically, the 49ers have been one of the best pass rushing teams over the past 2 years. 47 sacks last year, 47 sacks in 2019, second highest sack percentage in the entirety of the NFL last year, and that unit got better this year. While we lost, the main guy that we lost this year was Arden Key in terms of pass rushing, right? I know we lost C.J. Jones as well, but in terms of solely pass rushing, we lost Arden Key, but we added Kamoko Toure. We drafted Drake Jackson. We've continued to add this to this defensive line. And I think at the defensive tackle position, we essentially added Javon Kinlaw, who didn't play much last year. And so I do think that this defensive line overall is the better unit. We were the best run blocking unit in the entirety of the NFL last year from week 8 on forward. So I'm going to go with the slight edge to the 49ers over the Rams, but don't sleep on the Rams. They have the best player in the NFL in Aaron Donald. Leonard Floyd is nothing to play with as well. He's their edge rusher. They also do run a 3-4, a little bit of an interesting setup. So Floyd is obviously an outside linebacker. However, that other guy opposite of them, that's the reason that I'm giving it to the 49ers, and that's because they lost Von Miller. Von Miller was a guy that they added via trade in the middle of the season. I know Ashawn Robinson is no slouch, but Von Miller is very important.
Very, very well. I like that. I like that synopsis and breakdown, man. I think you got to go 49ers, man. 17 guys they have on their defensive line, and all could potentially be some type of a starting player on that line. I would have to say that I know the Rams have the best player on defense, probably, arguably, maybe the best 2 players on defense. Arguably, right? But I think you got to go with the Niners line. Because now you got to talk about, because remember, every other position we brought in the depth, right? So you got to factor in the 49ers depth. And it's just better, in my opinion, than the Rams depth on the defensive line. Even though I love Aaron Donald, I think he's still the best defensive player in the league until he's not. Nick Bosa is creeping right up, but there's so many players, right? And so I'm going to go with, I think the Rams got the best defensive line, bro. I think they have the most effective defensive line. I'm sorry. Which makes them better. Rams, by an edge, though. By an edge, no pun intended, then the Niners, then Arizona, then Seattle.
Yeah.
I know y'all not going to agree with that out there, and I know y'all think I'm crazy, but if Aaron Donald was the reason why the Rams beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Von Miller was Von Miller was the person that kind of helped seal the deal. It was because of Aaron Donald, though. Aaron Donald was commanding and demanding so much. Von was so free. And never mind. Y'all watch the game. And he does. You're 100% right. And this doesn't make Bosa worse than Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't, just because Bosa's getting double teamed because he's coming off the edge. Aaron Donald is not getting double teamed because he's inside. But when they move him outside, they double, chip, trip, clip. They try to do everything they can to prevent him from beating somebody on the outside. And they usually line him up on the other side. He's usually playing like the Leo in the 3-4 or something like that. He's just playing a different position. I got to go with the Rams on the D line. I'm not trying to be biased, but until Aaron Donald's not playing, I got to go with the Rams.
That's fair. And honestly, I'll say this just because I want to put it out there, even though it doesn't matter as much. When we're talking 3rd and 4th, Seattle and Arizona, I could see Seattle pushing Arizona for that 3rd spot. Seattle had Darrell Taylor last year, who had a pretty productive season. I know they've been known to draft a ton of unproductive players toward the end of their of the first round in drafts, but I think they have Darrell Taylor. Quentin Jefferson isn't bad. Puna Ford is still there, and they drafted Boye Mafe alongside bringing in the Uchenna Nwosu from the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they've got a young group, and I do think that they've got the potential to be the 3rd best defensive line in this division. But yeah, it's a fair analysis. I disagree, obviously, but I think that I can see where you're coming from, given that you have to balance in a way the quality of star players and the overall depth.
There it is. And it's only fair because a lot of people don't believe in Kinlaw. I mean, we do, but a lot of people don't. And so how do you factor in that? So who's going to play on the inside? A lot of people downplay Eric Armstead. I know we don't, but a lot of people do. And so when you look at stuff like that, you're saying, damn, the Niners only have Nick Bosa. See what I'm saying? and so if you put Nick Bosa up against Aaron Donald, some people say Bosa's better, but the league always says Aaron Donald is better. So it's so weird. But I respect 49ers being number one. I think as far as depth, they got it. But I think when you're talking about just like, I don't know, Aaron Donald never comes off the field, bro. So like he is the depth. Like he's the depth and the starting. So all right, let's go to linebackers. Because this is where it's gonna get tricky. Because does Bobby Wagner, the Cardinals, who has a solid linebacking core, bro? Zaven Collins,
The
Come
Cardinals
on.
have a solid linebacking core if their goddamn coaching staff knew how to use linebackers.
I didn't, but listen, they got the pieces. It's not my fault he don't use them right. Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins, and Dennis Gardick, and then they got Majay Sanders playing will linebacker on this depth chart, bro. This is crazy.
Right, because of the 3-4. Yeah. But no, linebacker groups, I think, like, there are a couple of strong ones, definitely. I think we
And they
can
got
say,
Marcus Golden too. I'm sorry, they got 4 linebackers.
right. Marcus Golden had a pretty productive season, I believe. Was it a year or two ago with New York? I remember that his 10.5 season sack season. But when you look at the four, I think right now we can just safely say without Bobby Wagner, the Seattle Seahawks end up being at 4. Even though Jordan Brooks is a pretty solid player, I think the
Correct.
group puts them at 4. So now we've got the top 3. Where are you going? One, two,
This
three.
is tough, bro. This is tough, but I'm going Niners, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, bro.
I think I agree. Because while Bobby Wagner is nice, I think the tandem of Wagner and Ernest Jones is actually a pretty solid tandem. However,
Mm-hmm.
I think that Fred Warner is better than Bobby Wagner. I also think that Aziz Al Shire is comparable to Ernest Jones, and I think that we also have the kind of the siding domino in Trey Greenlaw, as well as our other two guys who are pretty good at special teams, Oren Burks, Demetrius Flanagan Fouds. But if we're factoring the top 3, I think Greenlaw gives us the edge because we have 3 productive linebackers, even if we only employ 2 in certain packages.
And then you also have 3 productive linebackers on every facet level of the game, right? So you're talking about rushing, you're talking about blitzing, and you're talking about stopping, being able to cover. And
Right.
so when you look at that, I'm sorry, stopping the run, rushing, blitzing, and being able to cover. And so the 49ers have speed at the linebacking position, as well as, I would say they got to clean up their tackling, maybe stop going for the big hits and maybe focus more on the rapping and tackling because they're getting to the running backs. They're getting to the ball. It's just that they're trying to lay this boom down, and then the running backs today just don't fall down. Next thing you know, they keep going. They give up big gains. But I think the 49ers just have the overall solid trio. And then even on depth, you got to factor in Flanagan Fouls. You got to factor in those guys, man, because they come in. You've seen them come in due to injury and start and be good. They also picked up a linebacker. So I think the 49ers are going to be 49ers are going to be pretty straight when it comes to linebacking. When it comes to the linebacking position, man, I really think they got it. Will, Mike, and at the Sam. I think they have the depth. I think it's there. I can't wait to see what these couple of rookies are going to do. I like Oren Burks. I think he's going to be not just a special team. Notice how they drafted a linebacker that went later in the same draft as Fred Warner, which lets us know that they were looking at this kid. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if we don't get Fred, we were probably gonna try to get Oren Burks. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they got Fred, and then Burks got drafted by was it the Colts that he got drafted by? I can't remember. I can't remember the first team he got drafted by, but
Burks was from the Packers,
it
yeah.
was the Packers, right? And so that he gets drafted, and now he's now a 49er. A lot of people think he's just going to be a special teams guy. No, no, no. No, no, no. That guy's a linebacker. So it's cool, man. I really think the 49ers have the best linebacking room, probably core in the league. It's that solid.
Yeah, and I mean it definitely can compete, right? Because you have such like in a way such players that are different from each other, so they combine to create a very diverse group, which is important. I do think that Bobby Wagner is good. However, just the way in addition to the talent, the way that the 49ers utilize linebackers as compared to the Rams, who only have one linebacker in certain packages, which was the case last year, occasionally the position a little more, and the talent itself, I think, is a little better, both in terms of star talent and depth.
I agree. Let's go to the safety position because this is where it's going to get real. All right.
Yeah.
Fable JVC says, I think Drake Jackson is going to have a good season. I think so too, because I think the way that they're going to utilize him is on third and longs. And I think he's going to come in there and he's going to get to the quarterback. He's going to have one job, get to the quarterback on third and long. I think he has the power and the speed, even though it doesn't look like it, and the bend and the moves to get to the quarterback. So on a third and long, you can absolutely see him. And as he progresses, you're going to see more and more of Drake Jackson. So he might be in there regularly on third downs, opposed to just like that special Leo position, which is where he's gonna interchange and split reps with Samson Ebukam if the 49ers choose to keep Ebukam, because the 49ers can save $6.5 million right now if they choose to let him go. So we'll see what happens, but I like Drake Jackson. I think he's going to be an absolute mother freaking beast for the 49ers once Chris Kosari gets through with him. So thank you for the comment. All right, let's go to the safety position, bro. They are talking rap music out here, and I'm doing my best not to pay them any attention because part of me wants to jump in and just start singing all the songs. The Wild Wild West. Hey, the Wild Wild West. How about this one, y'all? I get the job done. I work. Who did that song? I bet y'all don't know that joint. They don't know 80s rap. Now that's all they're talking about out there, 80s rap. There wasn't the Fat Boys. Nope. Keep going. 3 cuts in your eyebrow trying to wild out. Let's see if they come up with it now. I just gave them a hint. All right, so let's go to the safety position, bro, because that's where it's going to get a little interesting. I like the safeties. I like the safeties for the Rams. I like Taylor Rapp.
I'll start this because I think I have a very, very bona fide number one, and I don't know if we actually did with the running back position.
It's going to be the Cardinals.
Seattle's got the number one in my opinion and I think that they're
Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams.
I know Diggs is coming off an injury, but when we're basing it off pure talent, Diggs is a Pro Bowler in my opinion, and Jamal Adams is one of the better box safeties. Diggs is the coverage guy. Adams is the box safety. I think they're a pretty good tandem, so I've got to put them at number one for me.
All right, so my number one is going to be the Cardinals.
Budda Baker.
Budda and Jalen Thompson. Like, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Trey Lance was able to run over Jalen Thompson, but the daggone Isaiah Simmons came out of nowhere, and that's how he didn't get in the end zone. Like, I remember that junk. But nah, Budda Baker, man, I think he's the best safety in the NFC West.
Yeah,
especially
there's argument for it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, all right, so we're talking strong safeties. I know he's a free safety. I mean, like I think it's Budda than Jimmy. Like if I'm gonna rank the safety, you know what? Bump that. Let's not do the rooms. Let's do them by position. Let's go free safety.
But safety. It's positionless nowadays, though, Wayne, in the NFL. So I don't know in a way how to rank that.
Okay.
Right? You'll have Jimmy Ward slide over
strong, patrolling in the box. No, you're right. So we could go. You could do that. Well, if that's the case, so let's talk about that because I know Budda will play in the box. I know he'll play deep. I know Jimmy will play in the box. He'll play deep. I don't see Jamal Adams playing deep.
Yeah, I mean, Budda is a good safety. I think he is the best safety probably in the NFC West. However, when we're looking both at talent, the individual talent and the overall depth of the room, I think Seattle has 2 very good starting caliber safeties. I know a lot of people discount Adams, but I think him as a box guy and as an edge rusher is pretty solid. He also improved in coverage this year. Additionally, I think that Quandre Diggs is a very solid. Oh, they got it. Okay.
But yeah, Big Daddy Kane. Yep, they got it.
Solid Pro Bowl level safety as well. I think the Cardinals are number 2, but I don't think that the duo of Thompson and Baker can overcome the duo that Seattle has right now. I think Seattle's building block on that defense is probably their safety tandem, where, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when you talk about the amount of money that they're paid, Quandre Diggs, 13.5 probably a year. Jamal Adams, like 17 a year or something like that. Then, yeah, they're not worth it. But when you're talking about overall talent, I think it's Seattle, then Arizona for the top 2.
All right, so we got our tops intertwined. Who's your number? So I'll go with you with Seattle. Arizona number 2. Who's 3 and 4?
This is tough because Jimmy Ward, I think, is the best player out of all the safeties involved.
I agree.
However,
the room sucks.
Have a gaping hole opposite of that, whereas the Rams, I think, have 3 fairly solid safeties and a 4th who also played in contributing role. I think Terrell Burgess, Jordan Fuller, and Taylor Rapp are all pretty solid contributing safeties. Nick Scott also played in a bit of a role last year. I saw him when I was watching the Rams. So I think I'm going to go with the Rams, honestly, and then go with the 49ers at 4, as surprising as it may be with Jimmy Ward being the player that he is.
So so did they just switch to Ice-T? Is that where we going? 5 in the morning, police at my door. Oh, wait a minute. No, but that is very spot on. I think the 49ers, unfortunately, and they had every chance to address it in the draft.
They have Chakravarthi Art, in my opinion, on this roster. They jump up either one or 2 spots. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. I'm with you 100%. 100%. But they won't re-sign him as of now. They won't resign him as of now. Do you think Jaquiski Tartt comes back to play for the 49ers?
No, I don't. I honestly, I'd love it at this point, given how our room is shaped out, but I think that they're content with the guys that they have. They paid Odom that money with the notion that he probably is the likely starter at the moment at free safety, opposite of Jimmy Ward. I do think that potentially, exactly. Rod gets it, and I think Rod follows the Rams, so obviously he'll give you an accurate report about that. But what I've watched is, they're all contributing factors. But when you talk about our safeties, Tartt, I think, is not going to look to come back to the 49ers. I think he's going to wait potentially in the season itself, wait it out, because an injury probably occurs to a safety. You get a starting caliber role then once you join that team and are able to prove your talents and prove your durability then. So that's where I think that Jaquiski Tartt ends up being utilized, is if an injury occurs to another player. I don't think he goes into the season being signed to a team.
And here we go. Drum roll. All right, we got to talk about the cornerbacks. This is where it's going to get tricky.
Let's do it.
Because let's just start with number 4. I think Seattle got the worst of the cornerbacks as of right now. I like their safeties. I don't like their cornerbacks. So, do you agree? Seattle 4?
I think so because I mean, Seattle right now, Sidney Jones I think is okay. He had a pretty good season this year. Yeah.
All right, so there might be some pushback. All right, number 1.
But we'll see. I think for now I'll put Seattle at 4, just off the top of my head.
So Seattle 4, the Rams 3.
Rams 3 with Jalen Ramsey in the building.
I know. You know what? That's not fair. Because I'm looking at the other side. I'm looking at the other side. I can't put the Rams 3. The Rams got to be 2. Should the 49ers be 3 since it's unproven?
So hard, man, because I think the cornerback room is another place where you wonder, where do you evaluate depth and things like that? Because the 49ers have a ton of depth, right? But when you're looking at the 3 starters, we don't know who the 3rd starter is for the 49ers at the moment. We're assuming it's going to be honestly, I think people assume it'll be Jason Barrett. We have no clue how he'll respond though from his injury. So I'm going to potentially slot in at that slot right now, Deommodore Lenoir. So it's Ward, Mosley, and Deommodore Lenoir. 2 pretty good underrated cornerbacks, but that 3rd one is the hole a little bit. And so that's why I think there's an argument for sure, because Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback for sure
in the division, hands down.
And then while the Rams did lose Darius Williams in free agency,
they did lose him in free agency.
Underrated move. Getting back Troy Hill for I think it was for some very little draft compensation from the Cincinnati Bengals. He is their slot guy, and then Robert Rochelle is still there. I forget the other guy that they had last year. I think it was David Long Jr. I think that group itself is pretty good. And so when you're comparing the 49ers and the Rams groups, the 49ers and the Rams have 2 solid contributors. So I have to put the Rams over the 49ers, just given off the star talent, right? Because I think that when you look at Jalen Ramsey, I think that star talent kind of trumps it when the groups are similar in terms of that depth. So now we're down to the Cardinals and the 49ers. And when you look at the Cardinals group, Byron Murphy is one of the better corners. They have Marco Wilson, who's improving in a way.
Mm-hmm. He's a fast guy too, man. 4.37.
I do think that this Cardinals group is probably 3. The 49ers are 2, and the Rams are 1.
Okay. So you got the 49ers over the Rams group, even though the 49ers. Okay. See, the 49ers have too many unknowns, right? Mm-hmm. You don't know what Charvarius Ward is going to do. You can only project what you think you're going to get from him, right? Number 1. we know what we know what Mosley can do. We think we know what Ambry Thomas can do. Who the hell's playing in the slot? Like, at least these other teams, you mentioned slot quarterbacks. Like, who's our slot guy? Like, we don't know. I might push the 49ers down to 3, Cardinals 2, Rams 1, Seattle 4. I think that's fair.
Okay.
I think that's fair. From my perspective, only because who's playing in the slot? We got to try out people to play in the slot. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Like, I mean, John Lynch alluded to it. It's an open competition in the slot.
Got you.
Even the team who's going to end up winning that battle, right? Is it going to be the rookie Sammy Womack? Is it going to be Diamond Lenore? Is it going to be Jason Verrett potentially? Is it even going to be Emmanuel Mosley, which I doubt happens, sliding into the slot? Like, there are so many different things that could happen. Ooh,
he wants me to do my list with Jimmy G in Seattle.
I mean, if Jimmy's in Seattle, then I think the Seattle goes to 3 and the 49ers go to 4, right? Just in terms of the overall group, because Seattle with Jimmy and Gino, and then I mean that means we have Sudfeld as their backup, right? Sudfeld is by far the worst backup out of all those 4, and I mean Colt McCoy is there as well.
They love some Sudfeld, man. I tell you what, I'm happy that Sudfeld is making, like, you know, he's being social, like he's out there chilling with everybody, going to the games, hanging out. He seems like one of the dudes. 1990 Chub Rock jumps on the scene with a pocket full of green. My bad. I just feel like Sudfeld is becoming a fan favorite. Do you get that sense? He's out, he's at the games, he's chilling with Trey, he's chilling with George Kittle, he's with the cool guys. Sudfeld,
he's like a team favorite in a way, because I know Trey vouched for him, and that's kind of why he got the contract. Because when you look at it, Sudfeld doesn't obviously have many reps. I mean, he wasn't necessarily all that impressive in training camp. I forget his accuracy numbers, but his completion percentage wasn't amazing. But I mean, so like you got to just base it off the traits and what people think. And so yeah, it is a little questionable for sure.
So Rohan, what you have to understand is that my family out here, they have ADHD. So sometimes we're talking and we're having a great conversation, they're in it, and then somebody will hit a music note, chord or something.
And everybody gonna go after it.
And so now they are putting stuff. And so what they trying to do is get me. But this one right here is your guy. No Border Sports. He ain't following me. He following you. He hit me with the "Do you want to ride?" in the backseat of my caddy. We talking about his do or die, PIMP, allergy, hiptology. I don't even know what the hell he was saying. And the song, but the joint was fire, bro. Oh man, do you guys remember Domino? Here we go, like I'm the domino. I got the fat black tracks on the yay yay. All right, we gotta do a private show where we could just do music, because they are that, bro. But nah, it's cool because I remember all this music, man. I'm telling you, I do. They taking me down memory lane, man. Oh man. But listen, that was fun. That was a really great exercise. As far as special teams, who has the best special teams unit?
Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting because the 49ers sucked at special teams last year. I know the Seattle Seahawks weren't great at special teams last year. When you look at, I mean, special teams is like a combination of players, right? Who has the best special teams unit now? I might go with the Cardinals because Rondell is their returner. I think.
Oh, that's right.
So I might go with the Cardinals 1, maybe the 49ers 2.
I still like the Cardinals punter. I miss Andy Lee.
Yeah, Andy solid. I mean, their kicker is pretty good too. Matt Prater.
Matt Prater. That's right. That's right.
I mean, at least he can. Now it's interesting because I think, because I know Seattle's got good punting and kicking too. Myers and Dixon over there. Michael Dixon is a very good punter. So I mean, that's interesting to talk about for sure. Seattle might be 2 behind the Cardinals at 1, and then the Rams, and then the 49ers maybe. I'm not sure though. That's something that we gotta think about a little bit, because it's a little beyond place kicking and obviously punting, because it's tackling and a variety of factors like that.
I'm going with you on that one. I'm not going to touch the special teams for the 49ers until I see them again
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
new special teams coach because it was tough.
It
It
was
was tough.
horrible last year.
It was tough, man. Rohan, this has been amazing. I love what we do on Tuesday nights. It's always fun with you. We always come up with cool, interesting things that we can talk about. And I can't wait till we drop it down for him again next week, man. Don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll have something for him, right?
We always come with it. We got to be cooking every single week. It don't even matter what we talking about. You see the chat is turned. They still going about
Yo, parents just don't understand by what. Like, I gotta address the chat. I'm sorry, you gotta give me 5 minutes.
Let's do it.
All right, they got some songs up there, man. They got MC Breed. Cats don't know anything about MC Breed. Pop goes the Weasel, and the Weasel goes pop. They don't know anything about that right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rod. We had a Rams fan in the chat, man. Truly appreciate it. Listen, they talking hip hop 80s, 90s. So if you got some hip hop stuff you listen to, throw it in the chat right now, bro. They are coming with the fire. I'm seeing fire. Gotta watch, yo. Gotta get a roughneck. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get a roughneck. MC Light. Look, they got some joints out here right now. Third base. Look, I know MC. I know these dudes, yo. I used to have tapes, cassettes, man. Parents just don't understand. Summertime. This was Fresh Prince before he was the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. All right. I gotta hit him with this, and we gonna go home. All right, we gotta hit him with this, yo. Hey, yo, Bo knows this, but Bo knows that. But Bo don't know Jack, because Bo can't rap, but what do you know? The dead off is first up the bat. No batteries included and no strings attached. No hose bars, no time for move faking. Got to get the juice so I can bring home the bacon. Brothers front, they say the try can't phone, but we've been known to be impossible like Broadway Joe. So, sleeping for her, you want to help you get your Z's through. Doom, doom, doom. But here's the real scoop. I'm all that offensive, short, dark, and handsome, but not beside your eyes. To show you where I come from, I'm facts. View me, add up to him. My days of pain moves are over. Analogy is in there, yeah. Head to the border, go get a taco. I can wreck it from the jump street, bing from the ghetto. Sit back, relax, and let yourself go. Don't sweat what you heard, now act like you know. Tribe Quest, R.I.P. Fife
Hey,
Dog.
one of y'all in the chat better clip that and post it on Twitter because Breezy is spitting.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Did this dude just come out with Informer? So that who is No Border Sports? Why? Yo, subscribe to my channel so we can have these conversations more and more because I love it. A licky boom boom down, detect the man. I done never understood what he was saying. And I didn't even know back then white people were Jamaicans. Like it was so funny because I was like, yo, this dude really can speak patois, I think. I don't know if he was pretending. I don't know, but it was dope. Informer was dope. His second single was trash. Hey, GSU for life. You talked about Minnie Riperton, and they kind of they just passed up on that. They don't know nothing about the R&B, dog. We got to do a whole nother show about R&B, man. You know what I'm saying? I missed that. The Tribe Called Quest was dope. Damn. All right, Rohan, let's get up out of here. I'll be here all day. They talking music.
And guys, the Celtics play today. Everyone got to show some love to Breezy because he's struggling right now.
Regulators, mount up. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume. Yo, music. They were dope. Warren G. R.I.P. Nate Dogg, man. You can't keep. I got one more. Honey, check it out. You got me mesmerized with your black hair and your fat ass thighs. Street poetry was my everyday. Joe, I got my man. He got something to say. All right, I'm done. I got 5 on it. The Loonies. All right, we done. I'm not from Boston. I wish I was. No, I don't. I love where I'm from. I'm cool, man. Look, so Rohan, I love music, right? And so that's my passion, bro. And so I grew up, I'm an 80s baby. So I grew up, the 90s was hard because it was all about crack. And then it went out to the West Coast. So I fell in love with like Snoop, Dre. I wasn't an NWA fan because I didn't really know about them then. But Dr. Dre, when the Chronic came out in 92, bro, I didn't even know what Chronic was. I just knew the album was fire. And then as you listen to the album, you start to understand what it was. But I'm saying that's why I got so endowed into like the West Coast rap. So yesterday on the show, we were talking about the Kendrick Lamar album, and I told people why it was hard for me to listen to Kendrick because he's from LA. He's from the West Coast, and he don't sound like those guys. And so it's hard for me to take, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to embrace him. But Mose told me that's because he spent time of his life in Chicago. So he got a whole bunch of different, styles.
Background into that music, yeah.
Yeah. Too short, man.
The Niners is the 9th worst team in the NFL.
Who said that?
ESPN.
Well, welcome to What's Going On, 49ers_Raj 2009. To my peeps, the Lex Coops Beamers in the bins. Y'all not going to make me miss my game. I'm out. Rohan's out. I'm out. We'll see you next Tuesday. I know this was that gritty talk, but we were on 49ers Red Zone. Make sure you're following his channel right now. Go subscribe. I need all of y'all in here to go subscribe to his channel. It's in the description of the show. How do I know? Because I put it in there. So make sure you do that. Restream, get your shit together. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out, y'all.